Hopefully you've been able to tag a bird already this season, but sometimes life gets in the way and you have to postpone your turkey hunting. It's just a fact of life. You just get too busy to go when you want to, or maybe you just haven't been able to make it happen yet. But in case you don't know, turkey season tends to get a little tougher as the days go on. In the early season, on the average, birds are a little more eager to come to your calling. They're more willing to run out into the middle of open fields and beat up your decoys. They're a lot more vocal and they're a little less gun shy. But in the late season, most of the hens have probably been bred and are off tending to nests. Toms have heard every call in the book and probably been shot at a time or two. They may have even seen one of their buddies get dropped right next to them. So in this video, we're gonna go over 3 late season turkey hunting tips so you can coax some of these weary toms out into the open and into range. And the first late season turkey hunting tip is to start off your calls very softly. This time of year, you'd be pretty lucky to hear more than just a couple of gobbles out of one bird. They might give a gobble or two while they're up in the tree and then gobble again once they hit the ground, but then after that, it's just complete silence. But just because they're silent doesn't mean that they're uninterested. This time of year, overcalling is gonna be your worst enemy because like I said earlier, they've heard every call in the book, good calls and bad. So you want to make sure that you're not just overly calling. It's not the early season where you can get away with the overzealous, just call every chance you get and get a response. Stick to the soft yelps and purrs and even the soft clucks. Just remember that less is more this time of year. If there is a gobbler in the area, those soft calls will get his attention and you are just gonna have to wait him out. This time of year, it is definitely a waiting game. Wait at least 30 minutes between your calling sequences and always start off very softly. If you need to reach out and spread that call out a little more, you can slowly ramp up that volume, but start off softly. And if you get a gobble, you can respond back and see if he's gonna, play along with it. But really your best bet along here is just to do a couple soft calls and then just sit tight. And the second late season turkey hunting tip is to either use a single hen decoy or no decoy at all. A lot of toms might get spooked this time of year by an aggressive setup where you've got like a quarter strut jake or something like that. But a single hen setup is a very passive setup. Being passive can be a good thing, especially this time of year when a lot of toms have probably been in more than a few fights and probably gotten their ass kicked a couple times too, unless they're the big dominant ones. But that passive setup is enough to tempt them without challenging them. You may also want to try just no decoy at all, especially in areas that have high hunting pressure. If you got a bird that hangs up with that single decoy, you have situations where they come in and then they just seem to drift off. You may want to just go ahead and just ditch that decoy altogether. These birds, especially in these high pressure areas, may have seen more than a few fake birds. And the third late season turkey hunting tip is all about the right location. This is probably going to be your best bet when it comes to tagging a late season turkey. Like I said earlier, these toms have seen and heard a few things and they're a lot less aggressive this time of year, so they are less willing to come running into the first calling sequence you throw out there. As you're hunting during the late season, you need to also think of them as scouting trips. So they need to be as low pressure as they can be, because one thing you need to look out for is where are these birds going to right after they fly down? And a lot of times it's very food oriented. Green fields are turkey magnets this time of year as they're switching their travel patterns to be more food oriented. And you may even find a few roost trees around these fields. So that was 3 quick late season turkey hunting tips. If you want some more turkey hunting tips, why don't you check out one of these videos over here. Hit that like button if you like this video, share it if you found it helpful, and make sure that you are subscribed so you can stay informed.